So you're thinking about moving to Hawaii, but which island is best for you? Each island has its own vibe. Some are great for adventure seekers, others are for city lovers. Still, we have places that are good for off-grid living and farming. If you're gonna make the move, you're gonna need someone to break it down for you, to tell you what is different about each island so you can find out which one's the best for you. I'm here to do that for you. Let's get started. We're gonna break down the real differences: population, home prices, things like that really are important in helping you make a decision as to which island is the best one for you. First up, we're going to go with Kauai. Kauai is awesome for nature lovers. If you're a remote worker, you're probably going to like Kauai. Retirees, it is, in my opinion, the most beautiful of the islands. It's sort of that idea that you have in your mind with Fantasy Island or whatever it might be when you see Hawaii on the big screen. Beautiful waterfalls, huge beaches that aren't overly populated, great hiking. The Nepali coast on the north shore of Kauai is one of the most beautiful places on the entire planet. Hanalei Bay is spectacular. People love it because it is a slower pace. It's a small town feel. It's a very tight community. Of the four main islands, it is the least populated. Outdoor activities, hiking, kayaking, surfing, and really, in my opinion, the best beaches in the entire state, because there are so many beaches and so few people that you will have large sections of really, really big beaches all to yourself. The biggest beach in the state is out there. It's as beautiful as it gets, in my opinion. Housing costs are a little bit tough. There is very low inventory pretty much in all markets, higher property prices, and really just a few rental options. There's a lot of people who go out there who do have a lot of money, and that drives up the prices there. So that's something to definitely take into account. There are not a lot of job opportunities. There are a few hotels and a number of boutique hotels. Outside of tourism, there's not as much there. You will have your normal local services. You know, everywhere has doctors and lawyers and things like that that support the overall economy, but it is a heavily tourist-based economy. There is a little bit of agriculture here and there, but that's something you'll need to take into account if you're looking at moving out there and getting a job. Challenges: limited shopping, fewer restaurants, very limited nightlife, and not as many flights out to the other islands. Those are some of the things that people have to take into account out there on Kauai. As of 2023, the population was a little over 73,000 people, so it's not that big. The median home prices are on the high side. It's definitely not the most affordable part of the state. You will have some parts of the island that cost a lot more. Princeville, Hanalei Bay, places like that can be pretty expensive, especially on the north shore of Kauai. Also, Poipu can get pretty expensive, but there are other areas that are less expensive. You do want to be really mindful of where you're going, though. There are some areas that tend to be more for the people who live and work on Kauai, and coming in and taking away housing from the local population is definitely frowned upon out there, so you need to be really mindful of where you're buying. Next up, we're going to talk about Oahu. Oahu is the most populated island. It is where Honolulu is. It's Hawaii 5-0. It's the North Shore. It's Big Surf. It is the big city in the state of Hawaii. It is really got a lot of people in a pretty compressed area. Is good for young professionals, military families, entrepreneurs. There's a much more varied economy there: financial services, shipping, logistics, a much more large infrastructure that comes with the military. Large medical facilities that are serving the entire state tend to be based over there. Other islands send people to Oahu when they have serious medical issues. So there's just a much more varied economy out there on Oahu. A lot more shopping. International people, usually from Japan, will often go to Oahu and do some shopping. So there's just a lot more going on. It's going to feel a lot more like a big city. So if you're a big city person and you like lots of restaurants, a lot of entertainment options, a fast pace, you don't mind being around a lot of people, Oahu is going to be the best island for you. The job market is pretty good there compared to the rest of the state. It does have the strongest economy and the most varied job market. When we came out of the Great Recession over a decade ago, Oahu was the first island to start picking back up before all the other islands, just because it has a much more strong and diversified economy. The education system is going to be better there than at the other islands. They do have a number of really highly ranked private schools. The University of Hawaii is also on Oahu. The public school challenges still exist there, just like they do anywhere else in the state, but you do have some other private school options and a lot more private school options on Oahu than you do on the other islands. The beaches, which a lot of people come to Hawaii for, are really awesome on Oahu. They rival Kauai in my opinion. It's just that they have a lot more people at them. On the east side of the island is probably one of my 2 or 3 favorite beaches in the entire state. Absolutely gorgeous, and that's Lanikai, consistently ranked as one of the best beaches on the island. And actually, I like Waikiki as well. Now, you're going to be really crowded. Like, you can lay on your towel and touch the person next to you laying on their towel. It gets so crowded there sometimes. That's something you'll have to take into account. The North Shore of Oahu has world famous surfing. It is where you can go and watch the pros do amazing things. The ocean is very challenging if the waves are up, so if you're not a strong, accomplished swimmer who can tread water for a long time, best to stay out when there is big surf, and definitely don't go out on a surf break if you don't know your way around. You're getting in the way of other people, so be really mindful of that as well. The biggest challenge with Oahu is the high cost of living, which we have everywhere, but also incredible traffic congestion. More than any other island, there are some pretty serious traffic issues. A lot of Oahu got built out before a good highway traffic infrastructure could be built, and you could be feeling the effects of that. If you're working downtown or in Waikiki, but you live over on the west side or the east side of the island, you could easily have over an hour commute each way to work every single day. So that's something you really have to take into account. As of 2023, there were over 1 million people on Oahu. I gotta tell you, it feels like double that when I'm there. The median home price is extremely varied. It looks like in 2024, we had the single family median home price was just over $1 million and $500,000 for condominiums. You will have parts of the island that are much more expensive than others. Prices in Hawaii tend to vary greatly, and Oahu is no exception. Next up is Maui, the Valley Isle. It's good for upscale lifestyle seekers, retirees, remote workers, hospitality professionals. There are a lot of people who travel to Maui. It has a great name. More people actually go to Oahu than Maui, but Maui seems to have a higher percentage of people who are there at any time that are visiting, so you definitely notice visitors a little bit more. It's a more balanced lifestyle. It's a little bit more of the natural beauty that you'll have on some place like Kauai, with a lot of the services and lifestyle that you'll have on Oahu, but not too much. So for a lot of people, Maui is a really good balance between old Hawaii and new Hawaii. World famous beaches, the scenery is wonderful. The road to Hana is a spectacular thing. You'll definitely want to do that, but leave a lot of time for it. There are waterfalls all over the place on that drive. Maui really does have a lot to offer. It's a good mix of people who live and work here and people who part-time. Though things are changing a little bit on Maui, you really want to be very, very mindful of where you're buying on Maui right now. Ever since the Lahaina firestorm, the neighborhoods are very, very sensitive to new people coming in, when a lot of people who live there are still looking for housing. A lot of people choose Maui for a remote work destination. The lifestyle fits their needs. The infrastructure is strong enough. It's not overly crowded, and they still have the beauty that you get in Hawaii. The high cost of living is a really big issue on Maui. It got worse after Lahaina, so it's still something. Rents have gone up. Prices of homes have gone up. New construction hasn't really picked up yet, so you're going to have to spend a good bit of money to buy a place on Maui. Maui has also undergone some of the strongest strongest changes on short-term vacation rental laws. So if you're looking at buying to invest in a short-term vacation rental, Maui might be one to definitely stay clear of right now. Maui is the third most populous island with 165 residents as of 2023. And as I mentioned, the home prices are the highest. Median prices are going to be extremely high in some parts of the island. And Maui does not have as much of the affordable housing options that you see on the other islands. And then finally, we get to the Big Island, the island of Hawaii, the island I have chosen to call home for over 20 years. This has the most affordable living compared to all the other islands. I often talk to people who are looking at properties out here on the Big Island as well as Maui, and the price difference between the two can be pretty staggering. The amount you get for the same money on the Big Island, even in more expensive places like Kailua Kona where I'm at, it is incredible compared to Maui. We often have great views. We are dominated by two large volcanoes, Mauna Kea and Mauna Loa on the Big Island. Both of those are well over 10,000 feet, and they provide a lot of slope for the island, which means a lot of houses have amazing views out here, which is not something that's as common in any of the other islands. This is a great island for adventure seekers and sustainability enthusiasts, people who want to do some farming, maybe live off the grid. You can actually buy acreage out here, relatively inexpensive. It's really easy to grow your own food. Hawaii is becoming a real destination for ecotourism, and I expect that to continue to grow in the next few years. Houses are more affordable. We have just more land and lower prices. Some parts of the island, over in Puna in particular, have relatively inexpensive housing. You do have to be very aware of where you're buying. You will be in a volcanic risk zone, and we can have more discussions about that on down the road, but you have to be really careful about where you're buying to make sure that your home is going to be relatively safe from the active volcano that we do have on this island, which is something that we're really known for. We have a little bit of everything out here. It's twice as big of all the other islands combined. We have a volcano, we have snow on top of the mountain in the wintertime. We have very arid areas, we have rainforests, we have pasture lands for cows and horses. We have a little bit of everything out here. It truly is the most varied island in the state, and it's not even close. The job market is pretty good out here. We do have a lot of tourism, but we also have some agriculture. Now, that doesn't pay super well, but luckily the cost of living is a little bit more affordable out here compared to the other islands, just because mainly housing. So that's something you can take into account, where you have some options to maybe live a slightly different lifestyle, not so fast paced like you have to on the other islands. The biggest challenge is that it gets late pretty early out here. There's not a lot of nightlife, there's limited shopping, there's fewer schools, there's fewer restaurants. It tends to be an island with a lot of people who stay at home or visit with friends. We don't have quite the entertainment or anything like that. So you'll have to find your own entertainment, and that's pretty easy to do once you get a pretty good group of friends. The Big Island is the second most populated island in the state with a little over 200,000 people, and it has two distinct sides, East Hawaii and West Hawaii. The cost of living is a little bit less in East Hawaii, mostly because of real estate. It is relatively easy to find a wonderful home under $700,000 on the east side of Hawaii, while at the same time on the west side of Hawaii, it's nearly impossible to find a great home under $700,000. So they really do vary quite a bit. And Hilo and Kona on East Hawaii and West Hawaii are a good hour and 15 minutes, hour and a half apart from each other. So they are actually pretty far, even though we're on the same island. This means that you have a lot of options. You can live a resort lifestyle and buy homes that are currently on the market for over $20 million, and you can buy places that are under $500,000. We have some parts of the island that are extremely rural, and you can find a really inexpensive cost of living, and you can even grow your own food and live off grid out here. Because of the lower cost of living, Hawaii Island is also the oldest island in terms of demographics, with the highest percentage of people over 65 years old. All right, guys, I hope you found this helpful. I want to be here for you no matter what island you're looking on. Either I can help you or someone with our team of professionals can help you, whether it's Kauai, Oahu, Maui, or anywhere on the Big Island. I have real estate professionals that will help guide you through the process and take you through every step of the way along this journey to helping make your Hawaii goal a reality. All you have to do is go down below and click on the link in the description. We will connect with you and we will get you taken care of, whether it's this island or Kauai or anywhere. We got people who can help you all over the state. We're growing this thing and it has been pretty impressive. I want to thank everyone for watching. We're going to have more videos coming up for you really soon.